Seth, what we want to do is want to give you this segment we just kind of came up with. Want to give you 5 athletes that aren't wrestlers from various points of time, and then we're going to kind of chop them up, and then want you to give your WWE equivalent, your comp for them. You know, because during NFL draft, NBA draft, baseball draft, everyone that gets drafted, they have their pro comp, the person that they say this is who he's most or she is most like. So we want to try that with some of our favorite athletes and see what you come up with.
Okay, so before we get into this, I do have a question. So you're going athletes past and present?
Past and present.
So do I get to go WWE past and present as well?
You get to do whatever you want to do.
It is my show.
It's your show.
You know, I had a call.
Can't tell you what to do.
I had a call with Rich the other day. You know, I said, Rich, what do we do, man? Like, how does he give me some advice? You know, and he said, look, my one advice, it's your show. So you talk about whatever the you want to talk about.
Exactly.
That's what he said. Verbatim. I self-bleeped myself there, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
So he said that verbatim. You know, he said, you talk about whatever you want to talk about. It's your show. If they don't like it, who cares? So that's great. I was like, oh, perfect. I can do that. That's no problem. Easy. I can listen to myself talk all day long. So hopefully the viewers can as well. But all right. So I can do whatever I want. It's my show.
It's your show.
Correct.
I'll do whatever I feel is right then.
Yes, you will.
And it won't be wrong.
All right, so this first athlete, this guy, he's been called a unicorn. You know, he came from a land far away to America, and he has been dominant in his sport. He's someone who some say is the best hitter in his sport, but if he put enough time into it, he could also be the best pitcher. That athlete is Shohei Ohtani. Who, Seth Rollins, is your WWE equivalent to Shohei Ohtani.
Okay. All right.
A unicorn. So special.
A unicorn special. One of one.
One of one.
Came from a faraway land.
Yeah, I mean, a faraway land could be New Jersey if you're talking about L.A., you know, but, you know, yeah, a faraway
Jersey's, land. Let's keep Jersey far away. Jersey can stay far, far, far away. All right.
Eventually, you know, reigning MVP, won championship.
Yep.
Like, he's the man.
He's the man. He's the man.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
Oh.
She's the man.
Hey.
You want to talk unicorns. You want to talk one of one. You want to talk the person who can do it all. You want to talk about a real revolutionary. You want to talk about the man, Becky Lynch.
Okay.
One of one, comes from a faraway land.
Yes.
All right. An island in the sea. Okay. She's an islander. He's an islander. There's a lot of similarities here. She can do it all. She can talk. She can get on the microphone. She can run you down. She can get in the ring. She can work with the very best. She brings the best out of everybody she works with.
She's a top babyface or a top heel.
Exactly. She can be a top babyface or a top heel. She's won championships at the highest level. So she, I mean, again, maybe not what you were thinking, but I think that's a perfect comparison.
Score
Well, I mean,
too.
I was kind of thinking at some point she was going to be one or two of these.
I mean, you know, I started to run. Look, I ran through a lot in my head there. My brain's moving quickly. You know, I had some possibilities, but when it all settled, you know, you said she was the man. I go, boom. He's the man. Shohei's the man. Of course. What am I doing? Obvious. The man, Becky Lynch.
I like that. All right, this next athlete has taken his sport by storm.
Okay.
Very successful. We mentioned him earlier. They've gone to his team. He's taken them into 7 championships. He's won multiple titles. He's looked at as a once-in-a-generation talent, and it doesn't look like the end is anywhere near. That athlete is Patrick Mahomes. Ooh. So, Seth Rollins, who is your WWE equivalent to Patrick Mahomes?
So, man, that's a tough one. And it's going to hurt me. It's going to pain me to say this. And I'll explain after I drop the bomb here. But I believe my comparison for Pat Mahomes and his level of greatness and his level of consistency is going to be Roman Reigns.
Okay.
Roman Reigns has main evented WrestleMania more than anybody else in the history of our company. They both move with a certain fluidity in the way they do things. There's a calculation to every play. you know? And I think Pat, early in his career, he was more run and gun. He was all over the place. Let's wing it. Let's get crazy. That's how Roman was in the Shield, right? Really took me, John Moxley, to kind of hone him in, to kind of create that, what he has become. But now you look at him, Pat's a different quarterback, right? Pat, he's precise. He is quick. He doesn't do anything without intention. Even the way he goes out of bounds at the last second is a little bit of something. Roman Reigns, same way. His attention to detail, his fluidity, but mostly the consistency at a very high level. That is hard to do. So as someone who is my rival, I'll give him the credit he deserves. He's been consistently fantastic at a very great level for a long time. And again, Pat, young man, no end in sight. I feel the same way with Roman Reigns. He's 40 years old, 41 years old now. Like, still got a lot of years left in the tank. So that's my comparison. I think that's solid. I like that one.
Like Mark Henry said, they got a lot left in the tank, right?
Lot left in the tank, baby.
All right. So this next athlete, this is a person who came into their sport with little fanfare. Their career had some injuries early on, but they overcame them. And then it was almost like a switch was flipped.
Okay.
And they got it. And they became in the running to be the greatest of all time at their position in their sport. This person has changed the way their entire sport has been played, all right? Changed the way the game has been played. En route to multiple MVPs, multiple championships, all right? This player is Steph Curry. Changed the way the game is played. Came in, we didn't really have him as being the great player that he is now, but through hard work, he's made himself into one of the all-time greats. So Seth Rollins, who is your WWE equivalent to Steph Curry?
So I'm actually going to go, I'm going to double up here. All right. Now this is I'm going to double up. I was going to pick one or the other, but I think they're one and the same in some capacity. And so I'm going to put them both together to make Steph Curry.
Okay.
And we're going into the Wayback Machine a little bit. Not too far, but way back to the early 90s. You talked about a guy who came in with, kind of a little fanfare, a couple injuries. Nobody was expecting what they got out of him, but at some point his number was called and he changed the game. Changed everything about the way the game is played, the way it looks, how you draft, what your prospects look like, all of that. And the people that did that for our industry in WWE, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, and Bret the Hitman Hart. All right, these two guys came in at a time when WWE was struggling. They needed something new, something fresh. They were not like top prospects because they're undersized. The way they worked wasn't seen as a main event style, but they hustled just like Steph did. They hustled, and they started to find success, even though they weren't expected to be at the top. And now you've got them both as multi-time Hall of Famers, WrestleMania main eventers, championships. And when you look back at what they were able to accomplish during that period of time, the early 90s through the 90s to Bret's retirement, and then Shawn had a great run in the early 2000s as well. These guys changed the game forever. They made it possible for guys like me to be looked at like a Hulk Hogan, like a Roman Reigns, like a John Cena, these huge hulking kind of behemoths that professional wrestling, was built on in the 80s and the 70s. Now we get to be the stars. We get to be the guys who can carry the torch. The style has completely changed from what it was during that, the early 90s, the Hogan, the Warrior era, the Legion of Doom. The style's completely changed, and it's all thanks to these guys. So Steph Curry, you get two, baby.
Ooh, I like that.
And I like that because I also two guys who in the land of giants weren't giants and yet became legendary, much like Steph, who's much smaller than most NBA players.
Exactly.
And so I like that. All right, this next person, they came into their sport following the heels of a sibling, but when it became their time to shine, they exploded and went on to become, I don't even think it's an argument, the greatest of all time in their profession. We're talking multiple championships. We're talking a name that transcends sports now into fashion, beauty, and everything else. This athlete is Serena Williams.
Ooh.
Who would be your WWE equivalent to the great Serena Williams?
Tough. Wow. That might be the toughest one so far. Man, that is incredible. God. Yeah, you know what? You were describing this person. You were just describing Serena, and in my head, I'm going, who is this person? She is a special cat.
Yeah.
She is a special cat, man. Wow. Ooh, who would I pick? Wow, that is so tough. The sibling thing, I'm trying to decide if I could find like a sibling situation. Siblings are tough.
Or even like a family member situation.
Family member situation. Yeah, that's always tricky.
Could be a father, could be a brother.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I mean, look, honestly, the first person that comes to mind for me is The Rock. The Rock. Because of what she's done outside of her sport, and because she's transcended her sport. She had her sister Venus. The Rock had his father, Soul Man Rocky Johnson. So, and his grandfather,
cousins.
Yeah, cousins. So he had basically what I'm getting at is Serena came in with a lot of expectation because of her sister's success, right? Because of how great Venus was. Venus had already set the table, and to be able to come in and surpass that was going to be, people didn't even, it was hard to even put that on her. Same with The Rock, right? His family tree had already been deeply ingrained in our industry. And for him to come in to put that expectation on him would have been crazy. You're going to take everything that your dad and your uncles and, all that, and you're going to take that to the next level and you're going to make it. But he had a vision to be bigger than wrestling, to transcend his sport. And Serena has done that. She has transcended her sport. She's taken it to the next level. You mentioned fashion. He's done it in film, in Hollywood. And I think the greatness, what they were able to accomplish in the ring, or on the court in Serena's situation, I think those two things come together. The expectations and being able to blow them out of the water, take the sport, make it bigger than it's ever been. I would say The Rock. Yeah, I think Serena Williams and The Rock.
I like that.
Yeah, Chris literally got in my ear right before you gave your answer and said The Rock. So
you were going there too?
That's what I was thinking too.
Great minds. Great minds. Look at that synergy. We're only on day one here.
This guy's the limit for tomorrow.
All right, so we got one more. This athlete,
all right,
many consider not to be just the greatest in their profession, but the greatest of all time. And this person, their legacy is not only in their sport, but outside of their sport. They mean just as much outside of the sport as they do inside of the sport. All right. This person floated like a butterfly. They sting like a bee. And to many, like me, consider him the absolute greatest.
Ooh.
The athlete is the great Muhammad Ali. So Seth Rollins. Wow. Who is your WWE comp to Muhammad Ali?
Dude.
Wow.
Dude. Come on now. That one's so hard. I said Serena was hard. This is the hardest one.
Well, that's why I saved it for last.
And I'll tell you why. Because the cultural impact that he has had is incomparable. It's incomparable. There's not a person in sports who's ever had, in my opinion, the cultural impact that Ali had. And I wasn't even alive during that period of time. You know what I'm saying? Like I only get it from secondhand information, reading documentaries, whatever it may be. But what he was able to accomplish, what was taken away from him, what he was able to come back to, what he was able to stand for, personally and politically. Oh man,
yeah, this one's tough.
I honestly don't. I can't. I don't think I can do it. I think you stumped me. I don't think anybody's worthy, and I don't mean that in a negative way towards my industry. I just don't think anybody's worthy, like because of what he was able to do as a human being, as a person. Like, you know, he was able to step outside of his sport in a way that nobody's ever done, I think. And I mean, the closest I would say is maybe John Cena. And I'll tell you why is because
The Make-A-Wish stuff.
yes. I think the impact that John has had on individuals around the world via his Make-A-Wish campaign and the diligence that he put into making a difference in people's lives in that way, he prioritized that over anything. And I think that, to me, that is sort of, it's not the same, but it's sort of in the vein of what Ali did, prioritizing his personal opinions and his politics and stuff over his sports.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like John is sort of that way. So again, I think Ali stands alone. John would tell me not to compare him in that way, but I mean, if we're going that direction, I think he's the only one, man. There's nobody out there like Ali.
And Michael Cole calls him the greatest. So
Yeah.
you know,
Greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Greatest of all time.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.